Good morning. Today is Veterans Day. You'll be receiving this the day after. But on Veterans Day, I always think of my parents and honor them because they were both veterans. Both my mother and my father were veterans. My mother was a WAC in the Women's Army Corps, and my father was a private in the Army. I have a picture of my dad in his Army attire in front of a barracks. I have two beautiful pictures of my parents, which I couldn't find because they're in storage somewhere, but one day I'll show them to you. Anyways, first, let me show you pictures of my parents. This is a picture of my mom and dad shortly after they were married. That's Jerry Bickett and Veronica Palank. Look at that gorgeous corsage that she's wearing. People used to always say, well, my mother used to always say, that I looked just like my father, but that I was sweet like my mother. I think that was true. My mother was very dear. It was unusual that my mother was in the Army. She was from Aberdeen, South Dakota, and decided she wasn't going to stay there while the war was on, and she could be of service. So she enlisted in the Women's Army Corps, and my aunt, her sister, enlisted in the Waves. So we have a tradition, I have a tradition of service in my family. Now here's a picture of my father in his Army attire. He was a very handsome gentleman. And I believe that this patch here is because he was stationed in Alaska for a while. I actually don't know what he did in the Army. I know he was stationed in Alaska for a while and then also stationed in Seattle for a while. My mother was stationed in Georgia for much of her term in the Army, and she was a medical transport. So she would move the young men who were coming in, who were injured, in a big truck to hospitals in the area in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So let me just show you one more thing. These are medals that my parents had, that my parents received while they were in the service. And you can see that the medals are somewhat similar. So let's see, these three medals are all the same. And they say, let's see, World War II, American Campaign, and Efficiency, Honor, and Fidelity. Now this one here, the green one, says Women's Army Corps, so I know that was my mom's. And this one says Asiatic Pacific Campaign. So that must mean something about what my father did. I'm not quite sure. At any rate, I'm proud of them and I honor them, and I feel privileged to be part of a family that served our nation in that way. And I also thank all the veterans who have served our nation and stood on the ramparts to keep us safe.